Hello everybody, and today I've got three special guests. It's the Women in Language conference coming up yet again, so I've got Linsday Williams from Lindsay Does Languages, Kerstin Cable from Fluent Language, and Shannon Kennedy, the Eurolinguiste. All three of them are the co-organisers of this event, which is in its second incarnation. It's one of what you might call the new wave of online language events. Did you think when you started this event last year, Lindsay, that it would have been such a success and that you'd be running it again this year?
Well, I mean, we always hoped so, but I think it was a big surprise to us. You know, a good surprise how well received the event was and how many people we had attend. And we're really glad to be able to come back this year and bring Women in Language to life again for 2019.
And how many people were there who took part roughly last year then?
So we had, I think it was over 350 attendees in the end. Is that about right? It was 350?
Definitely over 300.
Yeah, and so we were just completely blown away, really.
Wow,
yes. We set a goal of maybe there'll be 100 people that sign up. So we were pretty happy with that, and we're excited, like I say, to be back and for hopefully a bigger event this year.
It must have been quite a challenge to get that going from scratch and to explain to people the concept behind it.
Yeah, I mean, at first it also really started with the idea of, International Women's Day is coming up. You know, this was a few months before, obviously. And then I thought, wouldn't it be great to just get loads of amazing females doing wonderful things in language industries and just showcase that for a whole day. We started working together on it. We wrote a whole list of people we wanted to hear from, and the list was far too big for one day. There's not enough hours in the day to kind of showcase everything that we had and everyone that we wanted to hear from. And so it became this bigger 4-day event, and that's really what's happened again this year. Is all year we've just been adding to this list of people that we want to hear from, and then we've had to be so strict of okay, no, sorry Kerstin, I've added too many people, you know, and we'd be going through and thinking, right, okay, there's just so much going on, you know, the more you look, the more you find.
And so, organisationally, at least you know how you work together this year. And I suppose when you're approaching speakers, you've also been able to show, and of course potential participants in the audience, what it's all about. So in that sense, hopefully, it's going to be a bit easier for you from the organisational side this year. People will, it's sort of a known quantity.
Yeah. I mean, we've kind of fallen into the same roles of okay, so I'll do this bit and you do that bit, and Shannon, you do this bit, and you know, that's been great. There's half of the stuff from last year we can look back on and go, okay, oh yeah, we did that. Okay, let me just do that again and update that for this year and make sure that we're not just relying on everything, but we've got a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
Whereas last year it was a complete blank canvas. So that's been quite fun.
Last year, I remember you had sort of key themes. So there was language learning, there was a section about language and travel, there was a section about living and working with languages. Are you looking to organise in the same way this year with themes?
Almost. So last year, the Learning Week had split into two different major topics. There was the starting languages and the mastering languages. So the sort of beginner stuff and the more advanced stuff when you're further along in the line. And this year, what we've done is we've combined that into learning languages, and we've added a new fourth track called Language Discoveries, which has been very much inspired by a lot of the speakers that we found that we wanted to hear from. We felt we wanted to hear from them on this topic, this idea of, tell us about something we don't know, tell us about something that doesn't get as much exposure as perhaps other languages or other topics. And secondly, because of course this year being international, I always get the letters in the right order, International Year of Indigenous Languages, I'm pretty sure that's the right one, run by UNESCO, we figured it's a great chance to try and showcase some of that side of things as well. So hopefully there'll be some things that tie in nicely with that.
So that'll be focused then on Indigenous, minority and lesser used languages?
Yeah, to an extent. Not necessarily. There are some things like, for example, we've got Elena Gabrielli who'll be talking about anxiety and language learning and 2 key tools to kind of combat and to manage that. And that's something that doesn't always get the spotlight. Stereotypically you would think, oh, well, if you're suffering from anxiety, I mean, that's a horrible term anyway, suffering from anxiety. But if you feel like you have anxiety, you probably don't want to get up on a stage or a podium and talk about that particular topic. So it's discovering in more ways than one.
Yeah, great. Well, maybe talking of individual speakers, I could move to you, Shannon, and explore who's on the lineup this time a bit more. So staying with the theme of the year of Indigenous languages and so on, I noticed that Inky Gibbons is one of the people on the programme. Now, looking through the programme beforehand, there were some names that were very familiar to me. There were some I'd never heard of, and there was a sort of middle group of people I'm aware of, but don't really know very well, and Inky is one of them. Now, I think she works with Indigenous languages, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. She's originally from Mongolia, and she studied languages and language endangerment, as well as anthropology in Glasgow. And so her specialties are Indigenous languages, and she runs a site that offers courses for many of these languages as well.
So it's going to be fun to listen to what she's got to say then. And then, to move to some of the other speakers, are there any who spoke last year? So any repeat acts coming up before we go on to the new ones?
Yeah, we do. We have Shahida from Language Bay who's coming back this year, and I believe Maria Ortega Garcia. She spoke last year as well, didn't she, Lindsay and Kerstin? Yeah.
Yes,
so she's back as well this year.
She was remarkable last year. That was a real. Poor Lindsay had to man the chat. I remember that.
So she was a must.
I kept getting banned. From the chat because there were so many conversations going on that I, as a moderator, was getting done for spam because I was replying. So yeah.
A couple of the speakers I know from language events and elsewhere are Shona Beckwith, and you've got Jordan Aitkins as well, Shannon, who I know from the Polyglot Gathering. She's always there.
Yeah. Part of what we're trying to do with Women in Language is give speakers who don't normally get the chance to attend some of these events and speak at some of these events the opportunity to do so. So that's why our little slogan is to champion the voices of women in language. So that's why we try to find a selection of speakers, some that you've probably heard of, like Susanna, and some that you maybe haven't yet heard of. And then, as you said, some that are kind of in that middle ground that are at some events or that may be present, but you might not necessarily be super familiar with. So we try to create a diversity in speakers in that way.
Yeah, and you have Elena Polesi as well, who is someone who speaks at the Polyglot Gathering and has given some very entertaining talks in the past and is a very inspiring, I think, language teacher.
Yes.
You've also got some people who I've come across from YouTube. Yes. You've got Lindy Bottis, for example.
Yes, we do, and Abigail Lane. Both of them are really popular YouTubers, so we'll be kind of bringing them over from that one particular setting into Women in Language as well.
Yeah, and Abigail is one half of the Polyglot Progress team, isn't she, with Matt?
Yes.
Yeah. So I look forward to both of their talks. And then somebody else, Elena Mutanomo, I know as well. She's started as an English teacher, I think. Can you remember what she's going to be talking about?
Yeah, Elena is talking about teaching a language online in a smart and scalable way.
Yeah, 'cause she's more in the sort of the business advice side now, isn't she?
Yeah.
And I think you've got the sort of language as business sort of is another theme which is running through to an extent.
Yeah, we have several talks that are going to cover different things that you can do as a career in languages. We also talk about traveling with languages and how you can travel to learn languages, and then the benefits of knowing languages for travel as well.
Yeah. So moving to the business side of things in a way, Kerstin, how do we get involved then? When is the event, first of all?
We are running from the 7th to the 10th of March. So it's 4 days. Yeah. Over those 4 days, there will be, if I've counted correctly, 27 presentations plus 2 panel discussions. Last year, we had a we trialed this sort of idea of having a roundtable discussion. We're bringing it back this year. So those are a little bit less structured, moderated by one of us. And we've got two. The first one's going to be about, I think I've named it, and I basically go crazy naming these, and then nobody stops me from the other two. So it's called Languages, Loved Ones and Little Ones. In other words, a little bit about child being, motherhood, about learning a language when you've got kids, about perhaps teaching your kids languages, about managing your life and, with little ones, and perhaps also having people in your family or learning from your loved ones or trying to teach your loved ones. So that's panel number 1. And panel number 2 is about creativity in language learning and the many different forms that will take and can take, and how it can make things interesting and special and a lot more effective in many different ways. So we've got 2 panels. And like I said, 7th to the 10th of March, if you are, and we have, I've tried to structure our schedule so that anywhere you are in the world, no matter if you're in Australia or you are in California or you are anywhere in the middle, you should be able to catch at least 2-3 talks absolutely live without having to stay up in the middle of the night. That was the ambition. So that's all. It should be easy for you, but you don't have to catch the talks live. If you're live, you get the advantage of being able to participate in the chat room, ask questions and discuss and go along and, sort of get the energy from the very engaged group of awesome people that are watching. But if you are missing one and, we don't expect you to be as glued to the keyboard as we are going to be over the 4 days, then you have access to the recordings from the first day. So you've got access to the recordings whenever you want them. And all you need to do is log in. So your ticket price gives you catch up for a lifetime, so you don't need to turn up live, but we recommend you do because it's fun. Do you want me to tell you about the other things that we're offering? I do,
in a moment. I just wanted to say, yes, I remember last year that I participated live as an audience member in quite a lot of it, and there was this lively discussion going on, and that was great. But I was also drifting in and out because it was all day. I'd got other things going on here at home. So I sort of had it on in the background some of the time. And that was quite nice because I knew I could then, focus in again and go back to things or catch up with things I'd missed through the recording. So, I can certainly say that was something I found very user-friendly as an approach last year. So you talked about these panel discussions. And then can you just take part in one day, or is it a whole package?
It's a whole package.
Yeah.
The price of the whole package is hopefully cheaper than many other one days are going to be, because you're participating online. So first of all, you don't have the travel cost. You really can participate in your pajamas if you wish to do so. But the other thing is we try to keep this as low priced and accessible as it can be. So the 4 days will be $29. So hopefully that makes it accessible for lots and lots of people. If you really are financially absolutely prevented from attending, there is a little form that you can fill in, and we've got the opportunity for any other participant, if you've got a bit extra or you're feeling generous or you want to enable somebody else to come, you can put a little money towards somebody else's ticket, and then we're going to be giving those away. So there's a little application form. But for most people, we found that we've made it accessible and possible. So you buy a ticket, you've got access to 4 days. We don't do single day tickets.
Yeah, and there's a raffle running as well. I think, is that new, or I don't remember.
No, we did it last year as well.
Okay, I don't remember that. Yes.
So we did it last year as well. So this year again, the Women in Language raffle is back. You don't need to enter it any kind of special way. You buy your ticket, you're automatically entered into the raffle. And at this point, I'm still collecting prizes left, right, and centre. We've got some really cool stuff. We are all contributing, but we've also got from Fluent in 3 Months, I Will Teach You a Language, and some of our speakers. And then we've got various apps, really giving wonderful, wonderful subscriptions. So I don't want to list them all, but I can tell you that the prize fund is already worth over $1,500. Yeah. And there will be 3 winners. You don't need to do anything extra to be in with the chance to win. Just get your ticket. We've got a lot of fun activities that are running over the days. And we create a digital notebook that everybody can download and they've got access to as well. So you don't need to super organize your note taking. We kind of give you the spots there for you. It's like an action plan ready-made.
Great. Okay. Well, thanks very much. Thanks very much for telling me all about it. It sounds like it's going to be, a great event, and certainly if last year's is anything to go by, something I'm very much looking forward to taking part in as a member of the audience and typing a few comments in, a few emojis during the live chat too. So good luck with the last days, organising the event in advance. I hope everything keeps going smoothly and that there were no technical breakdowns on the day. And folks, if you've got any questions that you want to ask me about the event, pop them in the comments underneath, or I can pass them on to the organisers, or better still, go straight to womeninlanguages.com, I think is the website. Yeah.
Just one language, womeninlanguage.com.
Womeninlanguage.com. Yeah, the S is important there. Don't put it in. And
yeah, don't put it in.
You can find out details directly there. So thanks very much for giving me your time, telling us a bit more about what's going to be going on this year, and best of luck with the event. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Will.